Hey everyone, welcome to the video. We're really in that last stretch of the season, getting basically max tech. We picked up critter launchers yesterday, we got troop health, max that out. And technically our last tech is gonna be barrage. We're not gonna upgrade it, it's really just, if you want a critter and ER and there's a bunch of mines, maybe it helps out. And you can get 1 GBE to 90. Still Sparky level 2, which is fine. If we do play more, we'll get other GB to max out. And that's pretty much it. And normally I don't like switching nodes again, but Sky Shield wasn't really working on a spread base anymore. Just a lot of bomber players out there, so we switched to a compact base and that shield gen. And we'll try it a few hits. We got our first match over here. And here's one compact. Now there's two ways to hit compacts. It really depends on if there's a sky shield covering this bottom ER or not. If it's covering the bottom, we go 3-5 from the left, and we have to critter out this top side. And eventually if we see if there's no sky shield, we'll do a different kind of hit. Sometimes there's an ER in the middle, sometimes not. If there is, we're going to delay 1 HC, 1 RC, and kind of just spread everyone out on the left side. The main thing is we need 3 critters for that ER, so we're going to save some GBE to get that happening. And we want to delay a few HC RCs on that rocket. So in this space, we're going to do 1 and 2. 1 HC RC a bit further right with Sparky. And as this flame is almost dead, we drop the other HC, and then 2 RCs. We want to only spend a max of 2 shocks, and that's really on the critter launchers. So we're kind of waiting until the critter launcher is in range. Get 1 shock going. This HC should go a bit to the left, which is good. And in just a bit, do 1 more shock. Gotta art out this flame. And now we're using barrage for those mines. So we'll clear a bit more. Maybe until that boom cannon goes down. The RC is looking kind of bad. Couldn't even hack this rocket. And then now just move everyone across. Sucks we lost 1 RC, but might be fine. And the magic number we're waiting for is 78 GBE. Because that leaves us with 3 critters and 2 shocks. Which usually should be enough to get that full ER down. And over here, letting these guys go. They're about to kill this ER, and then we're not going to flare just yet. Maybe like 1 or 2 more buildings. Let's just wait until that machine gun goes down, and then start flaring. Because now we get a value shock over here. And as this ER goes down, get the last flare. And luckily just enough for 2 shocks. So even though we lost another RC kinda early, still not a terrible time, 208. Could be a bit faster if we of course have the RC alive. And see if it's enough. And here, looks like it is. And we'll go ahead and draw it out because even though it's a little simple, there's a bunch of small things to focus on. So first being the drop, especially on this base. It's 1-1 with Sparky going here. And then first you do 1-2 for that flame. And as the flame is dying, you do the last few boats to this side. So that way you kind of get all 3 ERs around the same time. And that way once that's done, you can go ahead flare here. And it's just easier because you don't have to worry too much on GBE. But the one thing is you can max do 2 shocks on these critter launchers because you don't have unlimited GBE and you really want to save it for this side. So we barred out that flame. Usually it's 4 or 5 arts, just see how much building health he has. And you can clear these mines with a barrage. But that magic number is 78 GB. because that means even if you already used 2 shocks, you need 78 for 3 critters and 2 more shocks. And you do it straight on the ER so it can go down. And all the while, you're flaring over here. Usually after I flare, I like doing the critters, because then it's just clear a bit more, and then you saw just saving GBE for the last few ERs. Most cases, there's a value shock like a bunch of cannons, boom cannon, and I think on 130 BH, trying to get around 210, 215, maybe closer to like 205 on 160 building health. Got another match over here. This one more of a spread out base, and kind of a weird one, a bunch of ERs on this side. And the reason we switched away from a spread out base is no matter what, any spread out base, you can always critter 1 ER. So in this one here, like we're gonna try crittering this left side. And really the same deal. You can save up, let's say, if you use 2 shocks on the other side, use 3 critters and 2 more shocks here. We'll kind of watch for this rocket, but we know the other 2 shocks is this junk here, and then that machine gun and flame. As far as the right side goes, maybe just 1 HCRC for this ER, and everyone else on the far side. So go ahead, do that 1 HCRC, everyone else over here. Dropping the HCs a bit early, and then the RCs. And just to get ready, we can do like 1 art for 3 mines. And do want to shock that critter launcher. Again, only a max of 2 shocks on the right side. So 1 for that critter launcher. And we'll do 1 more over here. And now just saving till that magic number, 78. We should get it pretty soon. These ERs are dying around the same time. Just getting our GBE ready. And now we can start. 3 critters, and then 2 shocks. Bit unlucky, a flame hit for a few seconds. But once it's done, we can do even 1 more shock. Get the hot pot down especially. And any leftover, we can always do some arts. And really just flare ERs. We'll lose 1 RC on the left side, but that's okay. And then just go towards the right. Enough for 1 shock on that cannon. And not too bad that we can't bar at the shield. And knowing that hot pot came up, but as soon as that sky shield goes down, just flare the ER. Flaring in just a bit, and then a bunch of arts. So 130 BH getting around 215. And then just see if it's fast enough. I think I remember one time this guy used lasers, so it was kind of close. Which still I find crazy that lasers are still working. This guy was Scorcher. Or kind of a split hit. 3 Scorchers, 1 RC. A bunch of lasers on this side. I think the only guy running them at this point. But still cool, you can be in 23, still rocking these guys. Got another match here. Rank 25 this time. And also a spread up base. This one is a little tough because it's not easy for an ER you can critter out. But I think we can go ahead, maybe try from... This one I tried once and that shock launcher reached, so maybe not that ER. But maybe just going from the right side. And I think it's worth a shot. Well, let's go all from the right and then try to critter out this bottom ER. That mortar reaches a little bit, but maybe if we save enough GB. So we'll go ahead, drop everyone from the right side. And then the RC is right under. Can you Sparky 2 on the far right? Already starting to art this rocket. And this side looking okay. Maybe one hack on that cannon. Only a few heavies on this side. Like hoping that RC stays alive. But not, so we're gonna do a shock. And really just let these guys spread out. Really wish we had an HC going left. But maybe it works out. Kind of let them go for a bit and we got a shock at some point. Get that going now. And still got a critter, but just watching this side. We'll go ahead, get one more shot going. And then now we can just start crittering. We'll go ahead, do right there with 2 shocks. On top of the critter launcher blind spot. And then even after, just a one more reshock on the hot pot and stuff. We kind of got an okay split. This ER is about to die. And then we'll just do a bunch of arts on the left side. No barrage because it's only level 1. It does like hardly any damage. And 221. So just seeing if it's fast enough. But looks like it is. Some good stars too, and see what he's doing. Looks like HCRC. And this is the other way to hit the space. At least kind of. Because you go straight from the right side. And he does have bullet, but even without bullet, you can still do a similar approach. Looks like he's gonna use him and maybe shock that shock launcher a bit. But the idea is you just have RCs hitting the base from the right side. And again, even though he drinks off this ER with bullet, you go from the right side, kill these ERs, and on our base, just flare the last one. Especially when there's no sky shield towards the bottom. Got another match over here. Another compact with this time a sky shield still covering that bottom ER. It does look a bit tough to critter out this side, but maybe it's still possible. We'll need one for that hot pot. And then let's say we can art out that machine gun. So not too bad, because then we can just art out or shock this machine gun rocket and then do critters on the blind spot of that mortar. So not directly onto the ER, maybe need an extra shock, though it shouldn't be too bad. And the drop over here, we don't have to worry too much about delaying. Because it's slightly different and no ER in the middle, I like doing just 3 HCs, and then Sparky. And then the RCs, it's hard to see but kind of towards the right. Because you really want the HCs to move up in front. And we'll go ahead, shock the critter launcher. Again, only doing a max of 2 shocks over here. But we can start arting out this side. Just that machine gun. And then get one more shock on that CL. And we'll do one barrage, clear a few mines. This one we want to let them go for a bit. Again, clearing to if there's any boom cannon right there. So once that BC goes down, we can regroup. And hopefully no RCs want to be dumb and go up in front. Just saving till at magic 78. So far looking kind of okay. And you know, there's another rocket right there. We have a lot of GB, so we can just try it directly on the ER with a few more shocks. So 1, 2, and pretty soon a third shock. Because all we need is Not too much for that ER to go down. Critters do just so much damage. Yeah, that ER is already dead. We'll go ahead and start flaring. Get this ER down, and then that last flare. And here maybe just one more shock. So not too bad a time, looks like. 215. Slightly different. We didn't need that 78, but a little bit more. But looks like a win. And that's a big benefit of throwing critters straight on the ER. Because even though we were late to this rocket shock, and the other rocket was still hitting them, you only need a few seconds and that ER is just melting. Because it's done in just one shock time, and then flare the last few ERs. But with that win, should give us 25, so get that chest. And not really anything to unlock. I mean, we could get medkits, because why not? But really just want to upgrade GBE. Maybe medkits a little bit, just in case for like lone rockets. And really it's also been this base helping right now. Hopefully it's still working for, a decent amount of time. But I'm kind of glad that HCRC is still working till the end. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.